I remember going to a hotel with my mum and dad and my brothers. And I remember looking around the hotel and I remember feeling I was very intimidated in the space and that the space was not for me. So it was basically like, you don't belong here. I always thought that that was a really interesting superpower that the designer has, is that they can make someone feel a certain way in the space. And that was when I was quite young that I felt like that. And from there, I became really interested in interiors.
Hey, and welcome to Space by Sansons. Today, I'm talking to Susan Bold.
Hi.
Design director at Echospace.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a treat to have you, actually. I've got an absolute thing for people from overseas. I just genuinely do. Like, I feel like they bring so much in terms of different experiences, different culture, bigger vision. Us Londoners just get quite narrow-minded and just like a little 25 miles of the M25. I don't even know how big the M25 is, but you know what I'm saying.
I don't think it's 25 miles.
Is it not? It's probably like 2. I have no idea.
Do you think?
I have no idea what it is.
I thought it's huge, isn't it?
It's probably, it's not very big compared to the world, is it?
No.
So, I mean, how far away is SA?
Yeah.
So there we go. So we get quite narrow-minded, and I love like digging into other people's experiences, cultures, like mindset, like norms, what's abnormal for them, what's normal for us. So I'm really excited to have you on, Susan. So thank you.
No, thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I love your whole essay thing, actually, South Africa and what happened and like how you got to coming over here. So can you fill us in a bit about like how you started in design? Was there a magic moment where you thought, I'm going to be an interior designer?
Yes, there was. Oh, no. Oh, cool. Yeah. So I always thought I was actually going to be a fashion designer because I loved fashion growing up. I always watched fashion TV. And then I remember going to a hotel with my mum and dad and my brothers. And I remember looking around the hotel and I remember feeling like I was very intimidated in the space and that the space was not for me. So it was basically like, you don't belong here. It made me feel intimidated. So I always thought that that was a really interesting superpower that the designer has, is that they can make someone feel like a certain way in the space. And that was when I was quite young that I felt like that. And from there, I became really interested in interiors. I would basically, every interior I went into, any shop, any hotel, any house, I would be that snoopy person and go, yeah, exactly. Really? Is that your choice? But yeah, I would actually always go to the bathroom. It's a weird thing that I did. I always used to go, like in a restaurant, I would go to the bathroom first because I wanted to see what it looked like and what finishes they used. And then from there, my love for interiors just grew and grew and grew.
I am with you on that, though. I know it sounds weird, but even in people's houses, I love their bathroom choices.
It tells you a lot, doesn't it, about someone?
Because I feel like everyone can do their front door and their hall and their lounge and like communal spaces, like nice. But when it comes to bathroom,
like, wow, you present your bathroom. How does it smell? What do you?
Fragrance.
Fragrance is a thing. Yeah.
Oh, obsessed with fragrance.
Yeah, me too. I'm a huge fragrance person. I think I told you before. Like my team know that whenever I go into an office building lobby or any kind of restaurant, I always like smell the space, and it actually changes your perception of it because you have this instant like, oh, that smells really lovely, and all of a sudden you either feel like really relaxed or you're really high energized just by the fragrance and the senses that you have around you.
I'm actually with you on that. I'm like quite obsessed with essential oils and like different fragrances like chamomile, lavender, like calm you down, like lemon and citrus fruits that pick you up.
Yeah, exactly. Get you going, energized. Yeah.
I think it's a bit of like a hidden thing that we need to do in offices.
Oh, 100%. So a lot of offices are doing it now. We've had clients who have asked us to help them with scents for their spaces. And it's really something that's quite fun to be able to do, is that you could also do it with the changing seasons. So you have different scents for different seasons that give your team a different response to their interior because it feels different, you know, it gives you a different kind of energy or feeling.
You have actually done that.
Yeah, so we've done something like that before for a client, yeah. And I think it's becoming quite common now because you want your brand to not just be what you see, it's what all the auxiliary senses that you want to be able to entice as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, so you're in this hotel and you were intimidated.
Yeah, so I was in this hotel and then I was really intimidated because, and I think it was just the finishes that they used. The designer was very clever with the finishes because it was obviously aimed for adults. It was not really aimed for children. The kinds of finishes that they used were very high end, lots of gold gilding, big chandeliers. It makes you feel very out of place if you're a young child and you're wearing your trainers and your jeans.
Is intimidating a good feeling to have?
I think in some places, yes. I think certain brands only want certain people coming in with a certain, money or whatever it is. Yeah. And that's an extension of your brand. It's, like when you go into boutiques in Mayfair, they have very little stock in their shops. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. It's psychological advertising. So you only have a few products, but your space is quite generous. So you're showcasing one product in a very large interior that's immediately making you think this is an exclusive product. So it's that psychological aspect that they think about as well. So you feel quite intimidated because if you go into that shop, there's only 3 items that you can look at. And then you have to try and make conversation with the salesperson and be like, I actually can't afford this. Okay, bye. And
everyone's looking at you, looking at the price tag.
Or there is no price tag because it's that exclusive and then they just assume you have the money. But yeah, it's interesting how space, exactly. Less can actually mean more in terms of make you feel that way because it's just clever design, using lighting, using fragrance, using materials to make one feel sometimes intimidated, sometimes welcome.
Yeah. And colder materials and harsher colours and colder colours and
angles and all that kind of thing as well, like how you manipulated the space. Are there lots of curves? And it's obviously softer, it's more inviting. As soon as you start introducing quite sharp angular elements, it's quite aggressive and can be seen as quite harsh.
Oh, that whole masculine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, goodness, it's deep, isn't it?
It is. There's like a whole can of worms there that you could just open up.
I love that. So you went from there, you started digging into Pippi's bathroom.
No, I did not. Let's not say that.
Remind me. No.
So I do kind of funny though. Whenever I meet people now, the first thing they always say to me is like, "Oh, I'd love you to come and see my house." I'm always like, "Okay," because it's not really what I do. But yeah,
wildly different interiors, resi to interiors.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a bit different, yeah, and longer. So, residential projects out the ground sometimes take 2 years if it's a really high spec project because you're building the house and then you're detailing it out, and then it's also quite different because it's a personal connection that you have to the home, where people do get very emotionally invested in the design, in the finishes, in the actual, how is this door handle going to look, and with offices, yes, that all matters, but it's more transactional. It's like, this is the handle because it's not only functional, it works for the scheme and it's beautiful. It's around price point. It's, whereas residential, there's a bit more that goes into it in terms of
emotion.
Yeah, emotion.
I mean, just that.
Yeah, just lots of emotions.
You can imagine. So you then studied design in?
Yeah, I studied interior architecture in South Africa. And then I got a job offer straight out of uni in Cape Town, so a little bit away from where I grew up. And I worked in hospitality company, so they specialize in hospitality design, and I worked there for a while, and then I moved to a company that did residential and commercial and retail, so it was a multidiscipline company, which was quite nice because then you exposed to completely different ways of delivering interior projects as well.
That's quite nice because you get that whole different psychology across the space.
Yeah, exactly, and different psychology, branding, and just different clients really.
Yeah.
I mean, I've dealt with every type of client you can think of.
Yeah, can imagine.
But yeah, so I did that, and then I did my own company for a while, a couple of years.
In South Africa?
In South Africa, yeah. So I had my own studio, and there I was doing the same residential, commercial, and I also did some education.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really great.
Nice.
And I had an art gallery as well when I had that with a very dear friend of mine. So we started this art gallery on the side, which was fab. Yeah, it was really fun.
It's just it was side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Side hustling. But I do love art, and obviously being a designer, it's such a big part of an interior as well. I feel like art really transforms a space, and you can tell a story just by the materials that you've used in the design, but then the art is the finishing, the icing on the cake is that finishing it off, perfect presentation and everything. Yeah. So I've always been very passionate about art, and I always think about it when I'm designing a scheme. I think, oh, where could I put art, or would this client appreciate art?
Yeah. So then did you come to the UK?
So then I moved to Johannesburg after that. I worked in quite a big company doing commercial offices there. I was exposed to some really fantastic brands, big international brands doing their offices. It was a wonderful experience, met some great designers, and then I moved to the UK.
So do you still work with any of those South African designers over there?
No, I don't actually know,
Nice.
Which is sad, but they were so talented, like amazing designers, like out the box thinking, always pushing the limits of every single design scheme that they were doing. It was really actually very inspirational working with them.
If there was one thing you could bring from South Africa and put in England, what would it be?
Oh, the texture, color, pattern, I do miss that massively. I think that was something that was always quite open for, freedom and playfulness. Yeah, vibrant. And yeah, I was able to always have quite bold color patterned, furniture, fabrics, art. Again, the art was just really bold and bright. And it was also lovely that I was able to use so many local artists, because South Africa is quite well known for up-and-coming artists and the creativity of, product designers out there. If you think of a Nando's, every Nando's is always designed differently. Mm-hmm. There's a South African chain. Mm-hmm. And last I heard, they always like to have South African product designers designing their spaces. And that you can almost see now when you see in Nando's, you think, oh, it's always quite bright, it's quite bold, mm-hmm. Beautifully made furniture and items in there, but creative. And I do, not saying that we don't have that in the UK. I think the UK is quite refined in the design style and slightly a bit more traditional, but not saying that they were right or wrong.
No, it's not right and wrong, and it's just cultures.
It was just cultures,
it's
exactly.
It's more reserved, it's more subdued, I guess. We just have less of a culture of colour, and I don't know really where it comes from, but we should look into it. We just don't have a culture of much colour or much vibrancy or much expression like that, but
I think it's coming though. I think it is changing. And yeah, definitely other countries do. And I think
we're learning from other countries.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's we now are melting pots here in the UK. We have so many different cultures and people with different experiences and different outlooks on life. And that's definitely influencing the interiors that we're seeing. And it's actually fantastic. It's a great time to watch how the design landscape is changing. And it's not so much about trends anymore, is it? It's more just good design and good design principles. And I love that. Yeah. Because I'm not someone who obsesses about a trend. It's just not me. I believe in design principles, and good design is, if you design by these principles, it will be a timeless, beautiful design.
Yeah. Do you use the psychology of colour in your spaces?
Yeah, often, yeah.
Or do you find that brand want their brand colour?
Yeah, sometimes.
The psychology behind it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. I think it really does depend on the brand itself.
Mm-hmm.
Often we design with marketing teams, and they do drive a lot of color choice and pattern that we use within the space, whether that's, whatever it is, whether it's, routing on acoustic panels, or whether it's the carpet tiles, or whether it's like, actual patterns that we cut into the ceilings or into the flooring design.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is sometimes driven by the marketing team, but I think holistically overall, you have a vision as a designer, and that's what makes the space successful. And then if you can work with the marketing team to inject their brand in, then you've done a good job, because it's holistically, the design is still your design. They're just working with you to refine it where it's going to make their brand best.
Yeah, I think we're seeing, like, in a really positive way, like, instead of people literally using their brand color.
Yeah, they use a tonal palette from their brand guidelines, or it's just like in certain areas of the space that they would want their brand colors implemented. Or it's also about brand philosophy as well. I also think it shouldn't be just about, I don't know, I don't want to say the brand, but we a certain brand, and we
Coca-Cola.
Okay, so yes, now everything's going to be red because it's Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's going to be like, it shouldn't be seen like that, unless you like Lego and you want, this amazing playful interior.
Yeah.
But most brands, I would think, are more about their philosophy and making sure that their brand guidelines and their brand principles are used while designing out the space.
Mm-hmm.
And then where needed in front of house or in your key client areas, you would have, the bold brand.
The red, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say that. More of an interpretation of their brand values rather than their brand
Exactly.
colors. So like open happiness would be their brand value vision, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So then they might use soft pinks or warm
exactly.
because that resembles happiness.
And it's also tonal from their brand guidelines probably, but yeah.
Yeah, it's good, that move.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't like seeing people's like corporate colour. It's just like, we need to find a curtain in this blue. Really?
In this specific blue.
Yeah, it's quite
Pantone, yeah. We get the dial on out.
Yeah. So when you came to the UK, like obviously you wished you could have brought the colours and the textures, because that would be fun, and I wish you could have done too, because I would love to see that. What's one of the most unexpected challenges that hit you when you landed here?
So one of the big things I realised when I moved here was, in South Africa, I had the budgets that I worked with were very different to here, right? So it was something that I had to get used to. In the UK, things are just way more expensive. So your project budgets are so much bigger. And I had to really think about how, and learn very quickly how expensive things were. Because labour is quite affordable in South Africa, you are able to be quite creative, and you'll be able to really push the boundaries of some things that, like joinery, for instance. Your joinery packages could be, a couple of 100,000 rand. But in the UK, your joinery package, as soon as it's like £100,000, that's a lot of money in comparison. Do you know what I mean? And I think labour, because labour is so affordable there, you were able to just be a bit more creative with the space because of that.
I see, I hadn't even thought of that. But of course, like, no.
Yeah, it's just something that I had to kind of get used to very quickly.
Something that's like highly labour intensive, like joinery. Suddenly you have to almost like look for more product-led solutions.
Exactly that. So we would always just, throw it in the joinery package, or if it's something quite intricate on site, throw more labour at it. So that was just honestly how it went, and it didn't cost the earth. Whereas as soon as you throwing more labour on it in the UK, it adds up very quickly. Very quickly.
Also, now in the UK, you have worked for some really big brands. I'm proud to say it like that.
Yeah.
And you are now at Echospace, which I'd say my interpretation of Echospace so you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, it's quite boutique.
It is boutique. That's how we would describe ourselves. Yeah.
Oh, cool. But
Yeah. You were right.
I get this kind of quite sort of like personalized and quite like hand holding, quite like family. It's probably not the right word to say family, but you get what I mean when I say that.
I think I've told you this before. I always say we don't ever call ourselves a family because you can't choose your family, but you can choose your team, and that's a big thing.
But team sounds boring.
I know, team sounds boring. But we do have a different word for ourselves. We call ourselves the Islanders because we've called ourselves from the very beginning Echo Island. So we see Echospace as Echo Island. And then we come to the mainland to, get the work and everything. But then we always go back to the island where we are as our little team. And we just work together to make sure that the team is successful and the business is successful.
And was that inspired of Love Island?
No. I've never watched a Love Island ever. Sorry.
Is it not?
No.
I
never came up with the Echo Island, but I know, I
thought it was.
I don't think.
I mean, no one told me it was. I just guessed it was.
No, I wasn't doing that.
Did not?
No.
Oh.
No, sorry. I feel like I've just let you down.
To be honest, I don't actually watch Love Island.
Oh, okay.
It's just like young designers and trendy. I imagine they all watch Love Island.
Yeah, I think some of my designers definitely do watch Love Island.
Yeah. I imagine they're like, let's call ourselves the Islanders. And I could just see it sort of quite vibrant. And
we came up with the concept because we do see ourselves slightly differently, because we are this tiny team who've basically grown the company together, and we've really gone through the really hard times and the really good times together, but we've gone through it together as our little island. So not team, don't worry.
I like the tight-knit team that you said.
Yeah.
Tight team. That sounded cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
So explain the island to me. Talk to me about the island. I like it. I love this. I love like designs, or like brand psychologies and things like that.
Yeah, so we have the sales team who go out. It's like every company though, isn't it? We have a sales team, the delivery team, your pre-con, your design. But so you have your sales team who go out and they find the leads and they go and find the fish. And then you have the designers who are busy making the space a livable space, building the hut, or not building it, designing up the huts for you to live in. And then you have the delivery team who are, going to organize the build of the huts and potentially build the huts themselves. And that creates our little ecosystem, FSAC ecosystem, on the island. Yeah. And then we all come together. And if one person isn't working well on the island, either we go and we try and help them to do their job better, or just do it for them while they recover, or whatever it is. But yeah.
Or just send them back to the mainland.
That's harsh.
What's it called when you ship someone off?
You're exiled.
That's it. That's the word I was looking for. The exiled of the exile.
It's like Survivor. We wrote you off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Terrible.
So if you work for a boutique brand, big brand, what is the worst thing about working for a big brand?
Oh gosh. I think there is the risk that you become a number in a big brand. So you just become part of the production line. And that is something that I think does happen. I have friends in big companies as well. And sometimes they say they do feel like they're just a number. Mm-hmm. They're just another cog in, the wheel, whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
And so what?
But I do think like big brands also have their own, if they're successful companies, so they're doing something right as well. It's not like they're not.
Oh no, no, they're definitely something right. It's just, I guess, from your experience at being both, it's kind of quite. I guess it's quite startup.
Yeah, it's very corporate. The one side, you get your work done. Yeah, and then we do have a more personal side to it. But I think it's also because we are a small team and. Mm-hmm. We've been together for a long time as a team. So we know each other very well, which is good as well.
That is good. And it's not to down big players or anything, because it's just literally, it's not a right and a wrong.
No, exactly that. There's no right and there's no wrong. It's just, yeah.
And if you were to like Echospace is growing and everything, and it's to be this huge brand. How would you?
I don't think it's ever going to be a huge brand.
I was going to say, how are you going to maintain that?
Yeah, I don't think we want it to be too much bigger than what we are at the moment. Let's try and keep that personalized element of the business and the personality as well of the business.
Yeah, and knowing everyone.
Yeah.
It's kind of quite difficult when it's like 300 people.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we'll ever get there.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
Yeah.
And what's the, obviously, like you're working with, you're a lot more personal, you've got like your relationships, that sort of thing. But what do you say is different in a boutique brand from like actually designing and delivering a job? Like, how would you say that different?
I think there's more hands-on from day one to completion. I think for myself, I am on site every week. My technical design is on site nearly every day. And obviously we have our project team delivering and everything. But I think there's just a bit more client hand-holding. And that's something that I enjoy because I get to know my clients really well. And you're forming like a lasting relationship, which is really important.
Did you used to do teaching?
Yes. So I used to teach design and I used to teach technical design as well.
This is in South Africa?
Yeah, in South Africa. Yeah.
Sure.
And mine's, so I actually used to have a full-time job and then I would teach evening classes. So it would be quite difficult. And then I would get home at like 11 o'clock at night. So it was quite hectic.
Has that changed how you lead your team today?
Yeah, definitely. I would say so, yeah.
How?
I think patience is a big thing and encouraging them to ask questions and not just assuming they know the answers and assuming that they know, because often people don't know and they just keep quiet and then the silence is almost like, okay, well, you know, so carry on. And then I think it can make designers feel a bit awkward as well because they're like, okay, well, I'm supposed to know this and I actually don't know. And now if I go and ask someone, they're going to think I don't know what I'm doing or I don't know my job. But that's not true. Like I always told the designers, ask questions. And I always told my students, ask me questions because sometimes I may not even know the answer and then I'll have to go look it up. But don't be afraid to ask questions. And I learned, I would say, a large portion of what I know from being on site and asking questions and learning from the tradies on site. And I would highly recommend people do that if they are new designers starting out.
And do you find that people go quiet and that's just like a red flag? Like they don't know the answer? Does that scare you?
No, it doesn't scare me. I just would ask them because, I'm South African. I'm pretty blunt.
Yeah.
I'll just say, do you know the answer? If you don't know, just tell me.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So you're pretty comfortable with that, and
100%. Yeah,
kind of taught you that.
Exactly.
Your culture background. Or
yeah, definitely culture, but also I just don't assume everyone knows the answer and that's okay as well. Yeah. You don't need to know the answer.
No, definitely not. What would you say to someone starting out in design?
Yeah, ask questions. I would definitely say that and go to site. Because like I say, you learn so much from the guys and girls on site.
Can the education system change that though? Because I do hear that a bit. Like you must get out of site, must get experience to it.
No, because the thing is internship is pretty good though. I will say that. But I think going to site, because it's a working site, you're building to a set of construction plans, and you're dealing with site problems, there and then, and you learning solutions and you're learning terminologies, and you can only really do that when you're on site. So I think the more exposure you have to that, the better.
Yeah, I'm wondering if how the education system can almost bring that in, or kind of
bring some tradies into the university.
It's not possible, I know, but it feels like people.
This is how you install an FCU.
What's an FCU?
The fan call unit.
Oh, there we go. I feel like people like if you study at university so long and then they come out and then it's like
it's all book knowledge. It's all textbook knowledge, isn't it? Which is not a bad thing.
no, it's not. It's just kind of like
I remember doing technical drawings in uni and doing details. And when I was doing details and stuff out in industry, and I went to meet this joiner the one time, and he looked at my drawings, and he was like, "This is so detailed." So I was like, "Yeah, it's a joinery drawing." And he literally looked at me and he like put it to the side and he's like, "What do you want it to look like? Give me the dimensions." And then he did it. He didn't even look at the drawing really, because he was like, "I know what I'm doing. I don't need you to tell me what I'm doing. What do you want it to look like? How does it have to function? And I will do it, you know?"
how do you want to do it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He knows, because he knows the materials. Yes, I'm a designer. Yes, I'm trained. Yes, I'm all these things. But sometimes the people who do this job every day, they know what they're doing. You don't need to sometimes tell them in detailed drawings constantly, this piece of MDF has to go here. They often have a better solution up their sleeve.
Yeah, I do get that. And also, like, sometimes I'm
not saying that he don't do drawings, like, but I'm saying, like, speak to people because they know what they're doing.
I also feel like designers have this like mammoth task where they kind of, if they do all these drawings like in detail, like you were saying, like you've got across like so many industries and so much like, I don't know, everything of a building. And when it comes to actually installing, you've got all these specialists like verticals like coming into it. You can't expect one person to know all of that.
Yeah.
And then also that's just from the practical build side. But then from the other side, you're almost like acting like a psychologist, like imagining how people are going to think and feel, behave in this space and how to sort of, I don't know, promote this sort of emotion or
mitigate that emotion. Yeah,
exactly. Designing in pinch points or designing out pinch points and all that kind of like psychology.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's physically possible for a human to do all of that. And
well, definitely not all the technical knowledge, but you need to have a very good understanding of most of it.
Because I get quite mind blown.
Yeah.
I like what is required.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot. And it's often something that I've always thought about, because I sometimes get frustrated when someone says, "Oh, I'm an interior designer." And then you're like, "Oh, what did you study?" And then they haven't. And then you're like, "Okay, so you actually just like buying pretty things." I know it sounds terrible, but there's so much technical information and knowledge that designers need to know. It's, it is actually very impressive. Like our teams that we work with, it's impressive.
I definitely, even today as well, like more and more, like they're pretty much asked to be like psychologists as well, right? And behavior of people, and then that whole delivery art, and then it's all like the whole world is speeding up, so everything's happening so short. We've got so short to design a space.
Yeah, definitely.
And you've got to immerse yourself,
especially in our world. Yeah,
that's what
plan and build. I mean, it's like
plan and build of offices.
Yeah.
It's just that.
Yeah.
And how can you immerse yourself in the brand and understand? I don't think people are fair in terms of the expectation of time of what's like.
Yes.
Either in the money and in the time that they get to
actually do the design and be creative. Because I'll often say that. I say to the designers, like, being a designer, you need to have the capacity, the mental capacity to also be creative. And you can't just expect someone to churn out creativity, because it's not part of the creative process. Like, especially if you're stressed out, you're not going to be super creative. You need to be able to, have some time, actually think about the design, think about what the best solutions are, what the end goal is, what do you want it to feel like, what do you want it to look like, and and you need time for that. And that doesn't just like happen, pick up a hand.
Yeah, it's not like an Excel sheet.
No, exactly.
And then even understanding like what the brand is about and what's important to them, because they might not even know.
Yeah, that's also true. Like I've worked with startups before, and they don't even know what the brand guidelines are yet, or like what they stand for, what the core values are, because they're still working it out. So that's also part of that whole process. But it's quite nice when it's at that phase, because you have a bit of influence on it as well, from the interior side, because it becomes those values and the brand guidelines and all that. The interior just becomes an extension of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, just completely off the wall, you made me think, what is a brand you would absolutely dream to work with?
I would love to do a fashion house,
oh, cool.
Yeah, like a really, like Stella McCartney, or just that kind of design house kind of vibe.
Would it be intimidating?
No, I don't think it would be. I just think it would be interesting to do that. I think it would be fun.
And would you design an intimidating space?
No. I think quite soft and feminine, isn't it? But yeah, like...
Okay. Yeah, but that office could be...
Yeah, exactly. It could be anything. But there's a few brands that I've actually been very lucky to work with, some really fantastic brands out there already. But yeah, I mean...
That's cool. I love it. I love it. For any sort of people with the brands I would like to work with, I think you always get a bit of an insight into the person.
Yeah.
Like you clearly have got that fashion.
Yeah.
Still hanging on.
Still would love to. Yeah, I would love to do a fashion house, I think. And it's probably... Yeah, I mean, it would just be interesting to also know how they work, and understand like how that whole industry works, because it's a creative industry, but it's also quite time driven as well. And yeah,
there is similarities.
Yeah.
And before we finish off, Susan, I really appreciate your time. But what's one book or podcast you would recommend?
Oh, I listen to Diary of a CEO. I find I find the guests fascinating, and I like that Stephen Bartlett asks the questions that I would ask normally.
Yeah.
Or in my head, I'm like, oh, but what about this? And then he normally asks that question. So I like that it's quite relatable. And I think some of these guests are very insightful. So yeah.
So you have a favorite guest?
Yeah, I do actually. It was this lady, her name is Erica, and she's like what is she? She's like a child psychologist. But yeah, she was so interesting that she also made me feel like I'm a pretty bad mom. But she was really interesting and very insightful. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But amazing. I haven't really watched him, to be honest. I should do it.
Yeah.
It's like the podcast of all podcasts, isn't it?
Good stuff on there. Yeah. Like nutrition wise, money, children, everything is on there. It's really good.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that whole like backstory and understanding. It's really cool. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in and listening. And if you can do the whole like follow, review, algorithm thing. Algorithms are weird.
I don't know what that is.
No,
Techie.
Yeah, but thank you everybody, and thank you again, Susan.
Thank you.